Has always given the USA some trouble.
Yeah, finally. I mean, we look forward to matches like this because right now in the world, there really are only a few teams that can test the United States. Sweden is one of them. And this is welcome for Vlatko, for the squad, because they need to see what areas they need to fix, improve upon come Olympic time.
Two of the most experienced players in the world right there will captain their sides. Carolina Seger has 211 caps. That is small in comparison to Carly Lloyd, who will be playing in her 300th game. We congratulate Carly on that achievement. Only Christy Pierce-Rampone and Christine Lilly have done that in the women's game or in the men's game. And Carly gets to wear the captain's armband today. Allie, what are the keys for today's game, USA versus Sweden?
Well, I think there's a few, but one thing that jumps out at me is the tactical matchup. Both these teams match up well physically, but coming in, both coaches had really similar language. They want to play on the front foot, yes, but over the course of 90 minutes, 6 games, 2 days off in between 6 games in the Olympics, they can't press the opposition and expect the same level of performance. So both these sides want to sit back a little bit, absorb some pressure, and look to counterpunch. Set pieces are a big, big point for Sweden. They're incredibly efficient on them, so the U.S. has to be wary of that. And if they sit too deep and invite a lot of pressure, they are going to give away those opportunities to Sweden. And then Dunn versus Jakobsen. Sweden wants to attack the right. Dunn is on the left. I'm really interested to see who pins the other one back.
Players on both sides taking a knee in show of support for social justice and racial equality. USA is in white with the red and blue trim. Sweden is in yellow. Our match referee, Lena Lettovada. She is from Finland. We await her whistle to get it started. Underway from Sweden. Friends Arena is the place. They have a retractable roof, and it is open. Weather is good enough that they could open it up. Jakobsen after number 10 in the yellow of Sweden. Down that right side, Hanna Glas cutting it back. Jakobsen, one of their stars. That's wide of Alyssa Nair, but it was deflected out, so Sweden immediately has a corner kick. And Peter Gerhardsson talked about the importance of this game, getting Sweden ready for the Olympics, which they've already qualified for.
And the attack coming down the right side against the left of the U.S. One of the strong points of the side is with that Jakobsen and Glas and the overlaps that she has.
Anderson will put it down for this corner. Some big targets, including Fischer, number 5 for Sweden. Driven to the near post. That's going to be headed out for another corner. Tina Davidson cleared it.
And U.S. wise to it. Sweden likes to find that near post with Hurtig. She'll flick on.
Short this time. The Asllani cross knocked away. U.S. tried to clear it out. Sweden back on the ball. And now it's knocked out again by the U.S. Asllani, one of the stars of this team at the Women's World Cup, where they finished in 3rd place, won the 3rd place game over England. Asllani was among the goal scorers in that one. Jakobsen had the other. Ball sent long by Sweden. Davidson played it left. And now sent the other way. Out for another throw-in. Sweden is on the ball. Showing you the starting 11s now for both sides. It is Falk in goal. Gerhardsson, the head coach of Sweden, said whoever started today, this was going to be the biggest game in their entire career. So Falk gets the start. Lindahl is their normal starting goalkeeper, but she's in her late 30s and is out due to contact tracing. She does not have COVID, but she was not allowed to travel for this game.
And we weren't exactly sure how Sweden was going to approach this match. They end up coming out in a 3-back, so they are in a 3-4-3. They're really going to look to get after the U.S. Getting 3 up on the back line, that's something the U.S. does not face often. It's a really good test for young Tierna Davidson, who's getting that start in the center back position over Dahlkemper, who's out with an injury.
Throw in for Linda Sembrant, who plays for Juventus. So many of these players for Sweden play in other countries now: England, Italy, Germany. Many still play in the Swedish league, which is idle at the moment. And that foul is going to be called. Player down was Haran. Aslani guilty.
Aslani just trying to bring that ball, cushion it down, and Haran gets a step on her, and you can see the jersey tug from Aslani.
U.S. trying the long ball. Haran was the first to it. Off that flick, it's played back. Ertz to the right. Into the box from O'Hara and grabbed easily by Falk. Vlatko Andonovski, a perfect record as the head coach for the U.S. women's national team. 16-0-0. Best start ever for a coach on the women's side.
Then who did it start off against? Sweden.
Ertz pass ahead. Press. And the foul. Press getting a start today. She's been very hot. 11 goals in her last 14 games, hoping to be a starter. She'll make this Olympic roster, but will she start? That's the bigger question.
She's been in really good form, and if you think back to the last time the United States played Sweden, she was in that wing role, and she got on the board, diced up a couple players with some slalom moves, and I think that's one of the reasons Vlatko has positioned her into this starting lineup tonight.
Haran to the left. Couple of cuts for Lindsay. Taken off the ball. Jakobsen feed. Sweden tries to break out. Jakobsen. Aslani. Look at that pressure from the U.S. They talked about playing differently today defensively, Ali, in different parts of the field and at different times. It's hard to hide press, especially when you're thinking about the Olympics with 6 games in 18 days.
Exactly. They want to be able to flex in and out of systems based on where they are on the pitch.
Liddell fed it to the outside. Cross coming in. Dealt with by Sembrant. Set right back in towards Falk. It's an easy play for her in the 6th minute.
And it's going to be congested for the U.S. You know, Sweden is in their 3-4-3 offensively. Defensively, they're sliding into a 5-back, and that means those channels, those gaps are even tighter. U.S. is going to have to be incredibly precise, and the movement, the timing of the movements has to be spot on. You're going to look at Carly Lloyd trying to get on the end of service, but also Lindsay Horan, who's going to slide up.
Davidson getting the start, trying to make something meaningful out of this today against a very good club. She started against Argentina, but you learn more about your level of competitiveness when you're playing a great team like Sweden compared to Argentina.
Yeah, you only saw offensive contributions in that match for Davidson. Today, she's going to be tested defensively.
Long ball from O'Hara. Press was in there, but the offside flag was up. Press has played for a couple of clubs in Sweden. Won a scoring title when she played in Sweden several years ago.
And it's such a good ball by O'Hara. You could see the clean line of Sweden. Press just gets a step ahead. And that's going to be one of those looks that maybe it doesn't come off the first time, maybe it doesn't come off the second time, but you start to soften up the pocket underneath as well for like a Lavelle to slide into.
Hannah Glass, one of 16 players on the World Cup roster in 2019. Which seems like it was so long ago. Only a couple of years, though. Listen there. Coming into this game, Nair, 10 consecutive shutouts, 911 consecutive shutout minutes. The last time she gave up a goal was against Sweden. Gave up 2. Throw in for Gloss in the 8th minute. Both teams have qualified for the Olympics. U.S. will have some interesting roster decisions to make. Some players on this roster are trying to make the Olympics. Some are looking for starting positions as opposed to being on the bench. So there's a lot to play for today. The game against France next week. A couple more friendlies and then a send-off series. But Vlatko Andonovski, Ali, hopes to name his team by mid-June.
It's a quick turnaround. And like you said, only a handful of games. So these players, every minute counts right now. Challenge coming in from Jakobsen from behind on Moran. And right now it's national team performances that are going to put a lot of stock into which players go, which players start. And then club will filter in a bit, but at the end of the day, it's playing against top competition that Vlatko wants to see how these players can perform and provide for their team.
Looped long by Dunn, but offside flag on Carly Lloyd. Amazing to watch Carly Lloyd playing in her 3rd decade. She will turn 39 in July. You don't play at age 39 unless you're Zlatan Ibrahimovic or a goalkeeper, right? That's it.
Or Carly Lloyd, apparently. Eager there on the line. But to your point, we were talking about, would she be in the 18 for the Olympics? And now the fact that she is sliding in as a starter in that 9 role says a ton about her character, her work ethic. She's the fittest she's ever been, and I think maybe the best part of what we've heard from her is she's enjoying the game as much as she ever has.
The Gloss feed into the middle is cut off. It's well read by Sauerbrunn. Gloss on the right. U.S. picking up there in the pressure. Dunn knocked it off Jakobsen. Crystal Dunn coming off a terrific performance in the 2019 Women's World Cup, and this year she'll be playing for the Portland Thorns after playing for the North Carolina Courage.
Thorns had an interesting game last night.
Sweden collecting with Aslani, putting it to the feet of Jakobsen, blasted away by Davidson.
And that's really well read by Davidson. Exactly what she needs to do, cover him behind Dunn and know that Jakobsen wants to threaten him behind.
The movement of the Swedish attackers is so good, so fluid, it could cause problems for the U.S. defensively.
Absolutely. They like to overload certain areas, and that's where one of the challenges will come in for the United States.
Gloss in line. Dunn stays with her. That ball stayed in play. Deflected ball, though, is going to be settled by Sweden in the middle of the field. Sager knocks it across. Sweden have some numbers in the box, but now they'll play it back. Driven long and wide. That's cleared away. Sweden back on the ball. Sembrant. Fischer. Down that right flank. Turned out to be a decent ball. Quickly. And that's going to be cut off. And out for a throw-in.
And JP, we'll see if it holds true, but it looks like in the mid-block for the United States, their defensive shape, they're actually going to be in a 4-2-3-1. Typically, it's a 4-1-4-1. Likely trying to clog up the spaces for an Aslani, for a Jakobsen, who will filter centrally.
Davidson. It's off Lloyd to the right. Lavelle off to the races. Pushing it to the right side. Williams. Red at the end line, lost it out. It's a goal kick for Falk. Lynn Williams, 3 goals, 5 assists in Olympic qualifying, has become a regular under Vlatko Andonovski. A majority of her goals and starting assignments have come since the coaching change when Jill Ellis left and then Vlatko Andonovski took over.
But still a lot to prove for her, just in terms of production.
Wilfo blocked. Ertz with a pickup. And then the foul was Aslani taking out Ertz.
And a lot of back press from Sweden. Heather mentioned it in the pregame. They're really disciplined in their defending. The team works back, and you can see the United States, that's one of the staples of their game as well, chasing back. And at this level, it's all important. I thought it was interesting the way that yesterday we were talking to Rose Lavelle and how she mentioned that the U.S. has always had such a great mentality, but under Vlatko Andonovski, they've actually gotten better. That at times you'll see the whole team chasing back, and that wasn't necessarily something that existed under previous regimes.
Falk sending it forward. U.S. collecting, and then lost it at the last moment. Jakobsen's pass. She turned it over too. Here's Horan. It's one of the things that Sweden talked about guarding against, giving a ball away to the U.S. in that part of the field.
And giving up early goals as well. Last time out, when these two sides faced up, they gave away a goal within 5 minutes. And if you're Sweden, you do not want to go down against the United States. That just generates momentum, more pressure, and you can't necessarily play the game that you want. You have to throw that playbook out the window. Right now, sitting 15 minutes in, Sweden will be happy with this.
Jennifer Falk sent it near the halfway line. Lavelle plays now for Manchester City. Will send it, try to send it long and wide to press. That didn't work. Williams on the right side kept it in play. The cross denied by Sweden. On a couple of bounces, Ertz recovers for Davidson. Ertz trying to chip it ahead for Lloyd. Lloyd battling, but it comes back to Fisher. Sembrand. Kloss. Halfway line game. U.S. is back on it. Aslani. Press. Back for Dunn. Here in the 16th minute, Sweden and the USA scoreless. Back for Davidson. The U.S. has scored goals in 66 consecutive games. Last time they didn't score back in 2017 versus Australia. Press, trying to leave it off. Wolfel played it to the left. Ertz. Davidson. O'Hara. They're dropping off on O'Hara. Williams. O'Hara continued the run to the end line. The cross for press. It falls instead to Horan. Lindsey Horan will square it. Lavelle. First touch failed her. Sweden will try to break out. U.S. good recovery there, thanks to Sauerbrunn. Harris ball blocked. Ertz trying to keep that pressure on against Sweden. Ertz with a follow-up. Cross off the left foot. Headed wide of Falk.
And just a really good spell by the United States. It was a simple 1-2 on that far side with Kelly O'Hara combining and getting in behind. You could see the structured 5-back system, and sometimes you have to have the run from deep to get in. And then you saw Becky Sauerbrunn regain possession. Then the ball ultimately pops out left with Julie Ertz. She flights that one in, but a really good spell for the United States. Couple wrinkles that they want to see happen, which is an early regain, especially from a center back stepping in front of Lena Hurtig, who was looking to maybe play on the break.
Falk sending it forward. Left sideline, Sweden unable to get up to it as O'Hara chips it towards Williams. Back for O'Hara, who now plays for the Washington Spirit in the NWSL. They started their Challenge Cup last night. Davidson, Ertz, and Nair were missing from their team as the Chicago Red Stars and Houston Dash played to a scoreless draw. Here's press. Horan in the box. And off Lloyd.
And the U.S. is starting to find a rhythm, and it's all starting with Julie Ertz. The patience in which she's being able to pop into pockets. First, she's dragging the center forward to her, and then reestablishing a space that she can get the ball again in. And she right now is initiating a lot of this attack from the United States.
Jennifer Falk in goal. Used to play for Gothenburg. Her entire professional career has been in Sweden. Headed forward by Davidson. On that far side, it's Anderson. Ball was lost out. Throw in for Sweden. Even though the U.S. has a huge advantage in the Lifetime Series, 6 of the last 7 games between these two clubs decided by 1 goal or less. And of course, everyone remembers, unfortunately, that 2016 Olympic run, which ended for the USA in a loss on penalties. Earliest they've ever been knocked out of a major tournament, World Cup or Olympics.
They just always match up well against us. They can match the power, the pace, usually the fitness as well.
Into the box, Lloyd's pass across, and that was denied. And Sweden in a little trouble as it's played back. It's cleared away. Falk will keep it alive. Almost 20 minutes in. How has the game looked?
Choppy, you know, tactical. We said that coming in. We thought it was going to be a really good tactical matchup. I think for the U.S., though, they're starting to grow in this game, and they're starting to find the spaces, understanding what Sweden is doing. Sweden's usually a team that's going to play in a 4-4-2, maybe a 4-2-3-1. I think the most recent time they played in a 3-back was against Denmark.
Crystal Dunn with possession, trying to switch the point of attack. O'Hara's pass ahead, Lavelle moving it. Williams quickly on the move on the right. Williams from the North Carolina Courage getting inside the box. Erickson trying to deal with her. Lavelle loves the left foot shot taken. Fingertip save by Falk. That's the first test for either goalkeeper.
And it's such a good turn from Rose Lavelle. You've got to credit Lynn Williams. First, she drives Erickson really deep on that end line. Now Sager has to provide cover in case she cuts inside. That provides space for Rose Lavelle to get her head up, get on the half turn, and try to rifle that one far post. Really good look at it. Two-hand save from Falk.
It's going to be Davidson to take this corner. Putting it towards the back post, and Falk was there, but there was contact and a foul on Williams.
And I like the idea from the United States, from Davidson in particular, to test Falk just in her 7th cap now. And doesn't come up with it cleanly, so that's something the U.S. will pay heed to.
'22nd minute, scoreless here. U.S. 5 straight wins to start 2021. Sweden has only played in 2 games. Both of those were victories. Sembrant will be called off by Falk. More pressure from the U.S. Falk allowed to play it. Horan heads it away. Press blocked by Aslani. The lost pass picked off by Horan. Lindsey Horan outside the box. Lavelle with a spin move. Trying to get to her own ball, cut off by Jakobsen. Breakout denied. It falls to Press on the left. 1v1, Press going wide. Good job defending, not giving Press that end line. Dunn throw in. Back for Crystal, off the left foot, back post area. Headed once, second ball down and cleared by Sweden. Davidson was up there to help out, and now it's Ertz. Sauerbrunn. O'Hara. To the feet of Williams. Ertz. Wide for Press. Again, isolated 1v1, but that time Gloss won that battle. Dunn with a pick. And that time not on the same page for the U.S., and Gloss will let it go out for a goal kick. Mentioned Carly Lloyd playing in her 300th game, wearing the captain's armband, as is custom for the U.S. when players hit a certain milestone. Becky Sauerbrunn is the club captain, but the armband is worn today by Lloyd.
And I really thought after Ramponen hit it, no one else would.
You wonder if anyone ever will in the future.
It's just going to become more difficult the way the game is progressing. You don't stay on the national team for 10, 15 years anymore.
Right.
Or it will be rare.
And not many games were played during the pandemic, so that cut out several games, several caps for players. Sweden on the ball, far side, takeaway by the U.S. Lavelle leaving it. Horan. Tierna Davidson.
And they see it, they're playing that first ball into Ertz, and then she's looking to get it again quickly after she releases it.
Sega spinning away. That's blocked by the U.S. Press. Horan. Davidson. Lindsey Horan, who plays for Portland in the NWSL. Upfield it comes. Lavelle. Nice ball right. Williams. Try to get that into the box. Denied by Sweden, who will clear. Horan recovers. You can hear the communication on the field. No fans allowed in the stands in Sweden. So we'll hear a lot more from players and coaches. Press. Ertz. It was Aslani after her. Wide left, Dunn high up from the left back spot. Sending it in, a teasing ball, but too close to Falk. Not close enough to Lloyd or others.
And you could hear Vlaco on the sideline saying, Crystal, get it, and they ultimately found her. High up on that back line. When they're in that 5 back, you've got to have that width to try to create more space in the channels between the players. And just looking at the traps, JP, that the United States is setting defensively, the areas that they're winning the ball the most are in those wide areas, inviting Sweden in and then shutting it down.
Eriksson gave it up. Ertz. O'Hara. Horan. Takeaway there, no foul given. The counter on for Sweden. Aslani slowed down nicely by Rose Labelle. Open is Gloss. But now Dunn will angle over. And a Gloss. The cross. Headed away. Sager, deft touch there. Aslani. Eriksson. Sweden come into this game with a healthy respect, but not a fear of the U.S.
Or so they say.
Yes. The fact that they're playing against some of the USA players now in England helps, said Eriksson yesterday, instead of playing them for the first time at a major tournament. Ball played across, and that's over the net. Just hit the netting up top of Alyssa Nair.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. You know, as the women's game grows and you're seeing players start to filter into other countries for club play, some of that allure, you know, or the evasiveness, the mystique of the United States player will start to disappear as these players start to understand tendencies more quickly. It's clear. And I think that's one of the advantages the United States has always had, is that fear factor. There's Lonnie doing the dirty work. Player that's so creative on the ball, but she hasn't been able to imprint it all offensively right now, doing a lot of defensive work for Sweden. That's one of the things that Peter said to us, Peter Gerhardsson, the manager for Sweden yesterday. They have to be comfortable sitting and defending and absorbing a lot of pressure. And when they do win it and when they do transition, they need to go and they need to go quickly because the U.S. is so good at recovering.
Sweden back on the ball, but not for long. I thought there was a foul there, but it was not called. Off a Dunn deflection. Gloss with a pickup. Options there. That was not the best one. Goal kick for Nair. Ertz. Davidson. Turner will send it across. Rose Labelle. Moving it against Sager. Labelle's pass, he wanted press.
Such a good idea.
All the way back to Falk. Hit the 30-minute mark. Sweden has to like this scoreline, I would think, at this point.
You're exactly right.
It's the first time the U.S. has played outside of the United States in 2021. Play next week in France. That game will be on Tuesday. Number 3, France. France will be missing several players because of a COVID situation there.
Yeah, OL and PSG have both been hit. A lot of those players from their national team play for those clubs.
Yeah, you could argue that France would be the better test if they had all of their players, but since they don't, this is a bigger test for the U.S. Sweden really have all their players with the exception of Linda, the goalkeeper. The U.S. trying to get numbers forward. The cross in, and 2 players were close enough to it, but not close enough. Dunn with the pickup. Headed away. Dunn recovers for Davidson. 12 in the white of the U.S. Gives up all the way. Aslani. This time the foul goes against the U.S.
It's been a good battle between Aslani and Lindsey Horan. Both players so comfortable on the half turn, and you see that's where Aslani gets a step on Horan, and Horan has to foul her.
3 goals for Aslani at the 2019 Women's World Cup, one of the stars for Sweden. A lot of conversation on the field, you can hear it. Gloss. She'll get it back to Maslany. Jakobsen was open on the right. They don't use her. Instead, the square ball is picked off. Comes back into Sweden's territory. Sembrant, first one on it. Fischer. And rushed that one. Jakobsen could not keep it in. Today's telecast is sponsored by Volkswagen, the presenting partner of U.S. Soccer. 33rd minute, zeros on the scoreboard. Falk has been tested once in goal for Sweden. Nair not tested yet.
And as the game has progressed, JP, the U.S. is finding it easier to get past that first line of pressure of Sweden. Consists of their three front.
Julie Ertz. Horan. Try to find press, that's cut off. Sweden's so good defensively, difficult to break down. But where they want to get better is with their offense, and they think that under Peter Gerhardsson they've taken positive steps in being more creative.
Yeah, and I just thought it was interesting when we spoke to Eriksson yesterday about how their whole identity has been based on defending.
Lloyd Carney went to the back post. It was just wide, stayed in play. And that one goes over the bar. The attempt by Lynn Williams.
And just back to Sweden, JP, and how they've been so focused on their defending, and now they're starting to think about how they can impact the game offensively. As we get a look at how the U.S. is breaking down Sweden or getting in behind a few times. That ball trickled along the end line. Carly Lloyd doing well to run that channel, and it's a really good touch. But no one there to knock it home.
Amazing career. If she scores tonight or against France, she'll become the oldest player to score wearing a USA Women's National Team jersey. It'll also be a record on the men's side, too. Last touch by Press. Throw in for Sweden.
And you can see what Sweden's doing with Rolfo. Rolfo's the one that's staying off that back line of the United States. And then Hurtig is actually sitting weak side off the back shoulder on that far side.
Just had a shot of Megan Rapinoe among the available subs today for the U.S. They're not dressing 5 players. Just going with 18 on this roster. Sweden on the ball, left side. Eriksson moving it up. Sager. Sembrant. Fischer. This right side, Gloss looking for Jakobsen. Entire ball was okay there. Didn't go out. "25 yards out. Sweden trying to get closer. The Anderson pass to the left. Rolfo's pass. Anderson swept away. Sauerbrun's clearance. Throw in for Sweden.
And it's good work by Sweden on that far side. Just a simple combination play. 1-2. Kelly O'Hare doesn't drop with the runner. And then that touch by Anderson gets away from her and allows Sauerbrunn just to come in and clean it up.
Sliding pass. Sweden keeping possession. Rolfo. Hurtig was open in the box. Sweden will try again from that left side. And at the end line, it's going to be knocked out. Rolfo was trying to make that play. It's a corner for Sweden. Slani's going to go over there to take it. 38 goals in her international career. Plays now for Real Madrid.
In Sweden, when we talk about being efficient on set pieces, sometimes it's that second service But the United States isn't clean on getting it out the first time.
Asllani. Towards the middle. Nair came out. It's the first goal. Sweden is on the board. Hurtig. Big goal for Sweden. Shutout streak over for Nair, and the U.S. trails for the first time in a long time.
And both Gerhardsen and Eriksson told us yesterday one of the qualities of Lena Hurtig is her ability in the air, and you see it there. She just rises above. First of all, she has incredible height just to begin with, and then excellent timing and release on her jump. Connects with the ball and just flicks that one far post.
Sliding with the assist in the 38th minute.
Such a good finish, JP.
Hurtig plays for Juventus. They're in first place in Serie A. A goal against Thailand at the last World Cup. And one of those players that is on the rise, according to Sweden. Press. Let's see what that goal does to this game. It's coming late in the first half. Here's Horan. And White to Falk. So the U.S. is in a different position. They're trailing.
And that's all good. I know that sounds crazy, but that is welcome by Vlatko Andonovski, by the staff, by this team, because this is when you learn about your squad. Plenty of examples of teams that go undefeated into tournaments, that go on a winning or shutout streak, and then come up empty-handed in big tournaments because they haven't been put in this situation.
Gonzaga, right? In the last NCAA March Madness tournament.
I'm going to go Santa Clara Broncos.
Yep.
NCAA circa 1999.
There's the obligatory Santa Clara mention. I wondered when we'd get that in, or when you would get that in.
First half, baby.
Yep. Good job. Here's Davidson. First time U.S. has faced adversity in a long time. But as you said, good for them. They need to figure out how they can come back in a game if they are trailing at the Olympics.
And right now, I mean, you stay the course. Talk about early goals throwing off a game plan. That isn't the situation.
Ball given away badly there from Sager. And Nair kept that one in play. Davidson. Both teams talked about set pieces as being the key to this game, and right now, that's the difference in the game. Set piece goal. Hurtig in the air off the feed from Asllani off the corner.
And just go back to how it was created. Rolfo on that left side. She's a left-footed player. She wants to get around the edge. She's the one who ultimately drew that corner kick.
Davidson in the circle, moving it for Dunn. U.S. trailing versus Sweden by a goal. Horan was open. Press tried to find her. Now it's Horan battling. Dunn. Press. Played back. Horan. Sending it right in. It was intended for Williams. Cleared away. O'Hara settles. Turn by Lloyd, taken out, and Sweden will move it ahead. Sager couldn't get to that ball. Good hustle by O'Hara to win it. Lindsey Horan with possession for the U.S. Trailing by a goal, first half versus Sweden. Gloss could have gone back to goal. Shows the other route. Anna Gloss up that right side. It's blocked. Done. Press. Everybody back for Sweden. Lavelle. Press. Try to find Dunn. It's too close to Gloss instead. ball went out, apparently off gloss. 43rd minute, U.S. trailing.
Carli Lloyd posted up in the box. Questions there of whether that was a penalty.
Fisher was on her 1v1. Can the U.S. equalize on a set piece? Press. Drives it. And then wide from Ertz.
Look, I think the progression of the United States past that first line of defense has been strong in this half, but where they're breaking down is in this final third. If you look at the movement right now, Sweden is incredibly disciplined and dropping when the U.S. is going to play a long ball in behind or serve the box from deep areas, and they're recognizing those runs. I think if I'm Kristen Press on the near side, Lynn Williams, a little out to in run into that inner channel will start to open things up and ask questions of the defender. Right now it's all too comfortable. They can see the ball, see the pass coming, and see the player.
Sweden will feel pretty comfortable, pretty confident if they could take this lead into the locker room at halftime. That still means that only half the job is done, but better than to be trailing.
No doubt. I mean, this is a well-scripted half for Sweden.
I said it was the first time the U.S. has trailed in a long time. They've never trailed under Vlatko Andonovski. In fact, never gave up a goal in the first half in 16 games and only conceded 3, 2 in the first game against Sweden. Asllani for Jakobsen. Sweden's looking for another. Cross was denied, off done. Body language is good from Sweden. They know that they can play against the U.S.
And there's just been some poor turnovers from the United States.
Final minute, we'll see about stoppage time, but this is an important set piece for the U.S. to defend against.
And we'll get a good look at who's supposed to be marking out Hertig. It looks like she's sitting in the zone of Ertz.
Anderson off her left foot. Nair punching it away. Second ball cleared by Lavelle. Lavelle scampering after that to try to win it back for the U.S. Here in the final seconds. We'll see about stoppage time. Off O'Hara. Sweden has it again. Run was denied and it's cleared away. Back inside the circle. Sweden is on it. Sounded like 1 minute added on. That's confirmed. Here in stoppage time. Jakobsen putting the brakes on. The cross in, but it was whistled.
And Sweden's having success on that far side. O'Hara's had her hands full. Eriksson lays a one-time ball in behind for Jakobsen, and then just the simple cutback. Now she has time to get her head up.
Horan. That was a dangerous ball back. It was picked off. Inside. Jakobsen shot. Nair. Big save. Asllani misses it. That could have been a 2-0 lead for Sweden.
Could have, should have been. Sloppy giveaway by Lindsey Horan. Rolfo reads it, just picks the pocket there of Davidson as she comes sliding in. And now Rolfo does so well to cut off the recovery run of Davidson, so she's 1v1 against Nair, and Nair comes up big time with that.
Only goal of the game was scored by Lena Hertig. It came in the 38th minute, her 11th international. The unfamiliar territory, let's see how they work it out. But again, as you said before, it's good, right? Because if you go into an Olympics and you've not had any adversity, how do you face it then? Second half underway. Just joining us, Sweden in the yellow and blue, USA in white. It was a very good first half for Sweden, and we would have said that even if it was scoreless. But it was an added bonus that Sweden scored on the set piece. No changes to start the second half. Davidson going wide. Lynn Williams settling. Sending it in, but not close enough to Lavelle and too close to Falk in goal.
And that's better already. I mean, that's where they did have some success in the first half of the United States with playing that ball wide and then getting those runs underneath from your 10s, from your attacking midfielders. That ball from Davidson is her bread and butter. As that left center back, left-footed center back, she can ping that ball wide to Lynn Williams. That might be something they utilize to stretch out the back line of Sweden.
Lavelle in the air. Tapping it up for Williams. That's blocked. For Sweden, the job is only halfway complete. Got another second half to go against the #1 ranked team in the world, USA. Battle between the number sixes, Williams and Eriksson. Sembrant. Magdalena Eriksson. And flag was up on the far side. Lena Hurtig with the game's only goal came in the 38th minute. Aslani assisting off of the corner kick. And flag is up again. As the U.S. try to send in Carly Lloyd. U.S. with a deep bench that includes Samantha Mewis, Alex Morgan, Emily Sonnet, Megan Rapinoe, Christy Mewis, and Alana Cook.
That's a starting 6 for their squad.
Sweden back on it. They also have some World Cup veterans on their bench. So both clubs are very deep on their roster. We talk about the U.S. having some difficult decisions to make. Sweden will be similar. Horan. Short for Ertz. Pushed wide by Lavelle. Here is Dunn. Waiting for the press run. Now it's cleared. There's Lavelle bringing it down. Turning. This time on the right foot for O'Hara. Kelly sending it in off the chest of Horan. Flags up again.
And it's 2 times the United States in the last 30 seconds have just tried to flight this ball into the box, into numbers. Sweden has protection. They've got discipline. They've got structure. I think that's where you're playing into Sweden's hands a bit. It doesn't mean the U.S. can't score that way. I just think it's the less likely way that you're going to break down this side.
Yeah, that was actually called a handball on Williams. Lavelle. O'Hara. What does Sweden have to do to come away with a win here today? How do they have to play the second half?
Stick with the same defensive discipline you've had, the same back pressing that you've had. You force some errant passes from the United States, which is atypical. But I also think continue to go after this left side. We talk about the right side of Sweden being so strong. They've actually been able to get at Kelly O'Hara. Good look there at the challenge between Ertz and Hurtig. Both physical players in their own right.
What about for the U.S.? What's their best avenue towards a game-time goal?
I see the United States being able to manipulate the space between the center backs and the wing backs right now. Whether that's through a run from deep from your attacking 10s, or whether that's an outside to in run from a winger, and you're establishing width from a Dunn getting forward. You know, it's all likely different options there.
Davidson just had enough of that. Back for Nair. There's Lavelle, bringing it down for Ertz. Dunn is on the move on the left. So Dunn, 1v1 versus Aslani, and gave that ball away.
And their numbers down, and that's just something the United States is not used to. Right there, they're 3v4, and they still try to play through that pressure.
For Jakobsen, that's too far. O'Hara up the middle. Lavelle, angling right. Now dead center. To the right side for Lynn Williams. Couple of cuts for Williams. Squaring it. Lavelle for Horan. Lindsey Horan in the box. No angle for her now. Towards the end line. Finding press. Lead pass cleared by Sweden. Throw in U.S. Sauerbrunn wanted to get that one in quicker, but now he's going to slow things down and give it up to a teammate. It's an O'Hara throw in. Kelly, a veteran, 3 World Cups, couple of Olympics. Lavelle. Horan leaving it for Rose, and that's wide. He'll fall. a decent opportunity.
Such a good look. Really is. I mean, this is a great little combination. Carly Lloyd posts up, and then you get the run from underneath from Lavelle. And she's been the one that has been most likely to influence the outcome, I think, for the United States going forward. Nice little pop-off with Lindsey Horan and her cutting inside. They are getting into that area at the top of the box, essentially, in the second half.
Lavelle has struggled to find minutes with Manchester City, unlike Mewis, but she's played in different positions. And she thought instead of that being a negative, she took it as a positive to try to be more impactful in different areas of the field.
And that's all you can do, right, is turn that situation into a learning moment. Right now, she's learned how to develop consistent confidence.
To the feet of Lloyd against Sembrand. Lloyd looking for Horan, and it's off of Lindsey's touch. And Sweden is able to clear. 52nd minute, Sweden surprising the U.S. with a 1-0 lead.
Good defending.
Lavelle using that right foot again. Maybe more than we've seen her recently. Williams getting it in. Played back. Several giveaways tonight by the U.S. I say tonight in Europe. Daytime in the U.S. and other places where you're watching this on Fox. Ertz. O'Hara. Trying to solve this Swedish defense. Not your typical USA crisp, sharp passing.
No, but you have to credit Sweden as well. You know, their defensive structure and discipline is asking a lot of questions. The United States offensively, they're used to being able to just pull people out of position with taking players on 1v1. Now you've unbalanced them. Now you've pulled someone out of position. That's just not happening against Sweden. They can handle you 1v1. Then the next player filters in. It's more difficult.
Williams. Horan. Again, that last ball. It's either not wide enough, not long enough.
Well, you're trying to be too cute with it. There's a lot of space there. Just put it in behind.
Sweden on the move. They got several in the attack. Intended for Rolfo. That's cleared. Presses after it. Gaining possession or regaining it for the U.S. Plus with an amazing 60 goals in just 142 games. And a lot of those games, she was a sub.
Yeah. Limited minutes.
It's off Anderson and now headed out by Eriksson. Anderson. Sweden going forward again. They're not sitting back and trying to protect their one-goal lead. Nice ball into space, near off the line. Net is empty for Jakobsen. She'll play it across, missed one, and a second Swedish player. But push it back to Aslani. Sweden could have taken a 2-0 lead there. That was on them. That net was empty and inviting.
They did not score, I do not know.
The U.S. can breathe a sigh of relief. But Sweden's still playing on the front foot.
Yeah, and O'Hara's having a little bit of a struggle tonight. Up a mistake on the near side, and that's what sent Sweden forward.
Space for Horan. Lindsey sending it in for Lloyd, and it's right at fault. There was Carly's chance, the one chance for her and the U.S. in this game.
Yeah, but still a difficult ball to finish. It's a good run by Lindsey Horan to get into that back line, making Aslani track back. That ball just didn't have a ton of pace on it for Carly to redirect. But in the end, just straight at the goalkeeper.
Off Ertz in the air. Brought down. Press. O'Hara. U.S. trailing versus Sweden. Sweden, the number 5 ranked team in the world. Bell for press. Blocked. Left there. Press recovers. Try to find Lloyd. It comes back out. Kelly O'Hara. Thought about tagging it. Now gets into the box. O'Hara's cross. She'll get a corner.
And it feels like it could be coming for the United States. This is a look at the opportunity that Sweden created. Kelly O'Hara was just hesitant. She thought maybe Julie Ertz was going to go, so she stayed. In the end, Hertig steps in there. The ball gets pushed centrally, and then they spring Jakobsen in behind, and now it's just scramble defending by the United States. Players recovering, and in the end, able to make the play.
Corner for press. Putting it towards the middle. Falls. Quick shot through traffic, but a good look at it by Falk. In the 57th minute, while the U.S. is looking for that equalizing goal, they do have to be mindful of the fact that they can't concede another and put themselves in an even deeper hole. It's one thing to say you've never trailed by 1 goal, but now it's by 2, and we're going to see our first change. Megan Rapinoe will come into the game, replacing Lynn Williams.
I don't think Lynn Williams really impacted proceedings tonight. She had one good moment, I think, in that first half where she was able to gain a ton of green for the United States, drive down the pitch, but otherwise there weren't a lot of services in behind for her to run onto. And the combination between her, Kelly O'Hara, and Rose Lavelle on the near side, that never really ensued the way that we usually see on the left side between Rapinoe, Dunn, in this case would be Horan, but it's been Mewis as of late.
Besides the fresh legs of Rapinoe, you also have a free kick specialist that comes into the game. Somebody that could have an impact in this one here in the second half.
And someone who loves the moment, right? If you're looking for someone to step up and give an equalizer.
It's her. Ertz. So that's the first change made by either side. It's before we hit the hour mark. Oh, someone wide open on that left side. The newcomer to the game anyway, Rapinoe on the left, working it, went near post. That's a good effort.
Of course she did. From that angle, of course she did. But this is really well worked. First, O'Hara plays a nice ball into Carly Lloyd, and then she pops the ball under Lindsay Horan, who's underneath that back line, and springs Rapinoe far side. Then Rapinoe just dances, get a glimpse with the hesitation of Glass.
Shot taken wide of Falk. Down on the attempt. Getting closer and closer to that hour mark. Another benchmark if Sweden can lead an hour in. Only goal of the game, if you're just joining us, Hertig, 38th minute, or 11th international goal. The assist going to Kasavai Aslani. Eriksson back to the feet of Falk. Pressured there from Lloyd, and they force a turnover. Good job by Lloyd.
She read the trigger well.
Press playing it across. It's off Megan Rapinoe. Sweden moving out of the back. Aslani, awkward touch, U.S. ball. In the 60th minute, Sweden up as the ball is played back to Alyssa Nair. After this, U.S. will take on France on Tuesday in France. And then later on, ahead of the Olympics, a couple of friendlies. And then a send-off series, we're told. Dates, opponents, TBD. Lavelle pressuring Sager. The veteran Sager will win it and leave it off. Fisher. Gloss. Down that right sideline. You've got Hertig open in the box for a second. There were U.S. defenders, but not that close to her. It's got to be ruled a goal kick anyway there for Nair. U.S. in unfamiliar territory under Vlatko Andonovski as head coach. They've never trailed, but they are right here. Peter Gerhardsson wants to make a change with Engeldahl for Rolfo, it looks like. You wonder if that's just fresh legs type of situation, or if there's anything else behind it.
We'll see where she slots in, because usually Angadal has been in the center mid next to Sager. See if that shifts Aslani, perhaps.
Yeah, Aslani could move up. Ball out again. Angadal has done well. 7 international appearances, 4 goals for Sweden. Aslani trying to thread the needle there for Hurtig. U.S. gave it away again. It's not a phrase we've used often. Lavelle. The touch of Lloyd. Sembrant. Aslani. Anderson. Hurtig. Trying to turn on Ertz. Two number 8s in that battle. The ball goes out. O'Hara knocked it off. Hurtig.
Really good defending.
U.S. on the ball. Next Saturday on Fox, MLS is back. Catch Austin FC. They make their league debut against Carlos Vela and LAFC. The action kicking off at 5:30 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Sauerbrunn leaving it off. The Davidson feed for Dunn.
And that's where timing's off for the United States. Lindsay Horan had popped out of that space in the half space, and Carly Lloyd should have been thinking one step ahead and sliding into it, but she was just a step off. Then that window closes down, and Dunn can't find her.
Off Falk's clearance. Sweden back on it. Aslani in the circle. Toe poked it away towards Jonna Anderson. Has Hurtig ahead of her. Anderson tried to pass it, and O'Hara blocked it. Anderson got it back. Hurtig. Anderson. Anderson plays for Chelsea in the Premier League, in the women's version of that, in the WSL. And the offside flag is up on Jakobsen.
Sweden with some good combination play, and Jakobsen lingering on that back line. Becky Sauerbrunn does well just to step her off.
64th minute, U.S. trailing versus Sweden. Games have always been tough and competitive when these two have met, and they tend to meet in the big tournaments too, Olympics and World Cups. Too long for Rapinoe. Both of these teams have played in every World Cup and every Olympic tournament, so no surprise. Sweden has been a strong team for a long time. Off Rapinoe. One sub apiece. More will be coming. Allowed 6 in these friendlies. We're seeing one now. Alex Morgan is going to come in. She's going to replace Carly Lloyd. So Carly's 300th game will end early in the 65th minute. Replaced by Alex Morgan, and according to Vlatko Andonovski, in our conversation with him, those two are battling really, maybe for one spot as that number 9 player.
Yeah, and Carly Lloyd right now, he said, just has a better understanding of the system, and Alex has a lot to catch up on.
Lavella's coming out too, so a couple of changes. We'll see who else. Sam Mewis has come in. So big changes there for the U.S. in terms of players that can impact the game, because you've got Rapinoe, you've got Sam Mewis, and now Alex Morgan.
Then Sweden just wants to take a breather. Can you imagine?
A somewhat risky ball, but Davidson will collect it. Long on that left side, Rapinoe. Closed down a little bit there by Fisher. Rapinoe almost able to turn the corner. Nice recovery by Fisher. Megan's pass back to Dunn. Dunn sending it in. It's blocked. Second ball. Played harmlessly back towards Falk. Congrats again to Carli Lloyd. 300th appearance. Leaving with her team trailing. Worked hard today, but she and the team didn't have many chances so far anyway.
No, and interesting, to consider is that they are implementing at times a lower line of confrontation, and they aren't pressing as high. You think about the United States and how they've been so impactful specifically this year. They've had so many regains when the other team is trying to build, and Carli Lloyd was typically the one that triggered that. You just didn't see a lot of those moments today, whether by design or as a result of the way this game has played out. We'll learn more after. But I do think that's impacting some of the momentum and the energy the United States feeds off of when they go out against opponents.
Moran on it. Lindsay just holding on to it. I mentioned the U.S. has won 16 in a row, but it's a long unbeaten streak at 37 coming into this. That's also in a bit of jeopardy. 16 straight wins and the unbeaten streak. Both could go away, but there's still plenty of time in this game.
And they just got away with one there, and a loose pass between Sauerbrunn and Davidson as well.
Sauerbrunn pressured by Hurtig. That was risky too. Sweden with that high press bailed out the U.S. with that foul on Gloss.
And it's all good. I mean, I know I'm going to keep saying this, but to try to play out of that pressure, to try to learn, is this too tight for our team? That's a moment that Nair is going to look back on and say that was the wrong decision.
I thought Press touched it last, but maybe not. 68th minute. It's a 1-0 lead for Sweden, and it was off Press. Hurtig's goal, the only one, off a set piece. That's the deciding factor in this one so far. Sager missed it. Sweden's able to get it back. They miss Aslani on that feed. O'Hara trying to find Morgan. Press has now shifted over to this right side where Lynn Williams was playing when Rapinoe came into the game. So now you've got Morgan, Rapinoe, and Press is really your front three. Sweden with Aslani. Tackled pretty hard. Foul on O'Hara with Aslani down. Oh, that was a long conversation before yellow, right?
Surprised you.
I thought with a long conversation, I thought she lucked out on not getting a yellow, but that wasn't the case.
Aslani just so silky smooth on it. Turns the corner on Mewes, then O'Hara with a heavy challenge.
What do you like about Aslani?
She's just smooth on it. I mean, you talk about players who can get on the half turn and face up, find creative moments to break down the opposition. She's one of those players that can do it. She's got the speed. She's got the smoothness.
Long distance free kick sent forward by Eriksson into the box. Try to find Sembrant that time on the second ball. Bounce up to Morgan. Rapinoe. The top intended for Rapinoe. Able to catch up to it. A sea of yellow trailing her. Yellow and blue. And no foul given there. Rapinoe asking for one. Cleared away by Sweden. We're in the 70th minute. Rapinoe trying to turn on Jakobsen.
Jakobsen has been so good defensively. I mean, we think about her ability to imprint on a game offensively, and the defensive shift that she's put in tonight has been nothing short of fantastic.
The impact of the pandemic on youth sports has been significant, and while recovery has started in some communities, too many children in need are still on the sidelines. Visit goodsports.org to learn how you can help Fox Sports and Good Sports restore play for at-risk youth and the programs that serve them through donations of brand new sports equipment. We thank you for your support. Falk will send that one forward. O'Hara kept it in, but gave it back to Hurtig. Sweden's not giving the U.S. much in this game. They're playing with an impressive amount of confidence. And they're still trying to get a second goal if they can while maintaining that strong defensive shape.
And it's a small thing, but Sweden plays with such an expansive shape that it's more difficult for the U.S. to close down and press the way they do in numbers.
Hurtig against Sauerbrunn, trying to send it through. Savari was the intended target. Block from Sembrant. Sweden back on the ball. Anderson. Asllani. It's Ertz on Asllani. Asllani asking for a foul. Throw in, but for Sweden. In the 72nd minute. The surprise here is that the U.S. is trailing in the game because they haven't under Vlatko Andonovski, but it's not a huge surprise because it's against Sweden, and you knew it would be a tough and a good game.
The number 5 team in the world, and a team that always matches up well against us. So many teams cannot match the power, the pace, and play in that expansive shape. We talk about an expansive shape. Well, oppositions, if they can't cover the ground, they can't play in that. Well, Sweden is one of those teams that can, and it's eliminating one of our greatest assets, which is the press.
Morgan versus Sembrant. Morgan laid it off to Rapinoe. Megan's cross block given away. That's Morgan laying it off. Quick shot high and over from Mewis.
And you start to think, you know, who do you want to have get on the ball in these moments? Megan Rapinoe's one of them. Alex Morgan, yes. Sam Mewis, absolutely. She's been in incredible form, but that one rises up.
Sam Mewis has scored 13 goals this year for Manchester City in all competitions, including 5 in the Champions League. Amazing when you think about it. The number of goals. Good, solid two-way player. An everyday starter really now for club and country, but that's a lot of goals. She's not a forward.
No, a lot of them have come with her head, to be fair. She's got good stature, good accuracy in the box. But now it's other elements that she's going to look to layer in, and that's the final ball. And I do think perhaps that's one of the reasons that she wasn't in the starting 11.
Ball played in towards the runner of Rapinoe. This time on the opposite side, and the ball was out.
It's not that Sam Mewis can't play the final pass. It's that usually they're overweight, but the texture isn't right. And if you're going to be playing against a really organized team like Sweden, you want to have someone like Lavelle in there who can weight it more finely. Lindsey Horan with the diagonals, but those have been off today to open up the pitch for the U.S.
If you're wondering if Sweden could be one of the favorites to win the Olympics, I'd say wonder no more. I mean, they're good. They're solid. The U.S. would go in as a favorite because they're number 1 in the world, but you have to like the chances of Sweden to go far in that tournament. Done with it. 12 teams in the Olympics. They've got 10 already. 2 more to be decided soon. And then the draw later in April. '75th minute. Sweden still up. Asllani setting up Hurtig for the game's only goal. The U.S. hadn't conceded a goal in 2021, and only 3 under Vlatko Andonovski in 16 games. It's now 4. Will that goal be a game winner for Sweden? Time will tell. Got another 15 and stoppage time to go.
And think back to yesterday when Peter Gerhardsson was telling us, you know, one of the things they wanted to focus on in this game was set pieces, but in particular, having efficiency against top teams, because they've done it against maybe a lesser opponent like in Austria, like a Malta. But to do it against the United States was something that he felt this team could build confidence on.
Sembrant Try another long ball. That was denied by Davidson. Sweden getting to a lot of second balls tonight. They've looked good. They continue to look good in the 76th minute. Upset. This one is over. Melissa Nair. We're going to see another change for Sweden. Morgan trying to find Rapinoe. Too much on that ball. Fisher will let it go out. It's a goal kick for Falk. It's going to be Blackstenius who will come in and replace Hurtig. This was the game's only goal, Alec.
And it was a beauty. The ball in first from Asllani. You know she's targeting that near post. No one from the United States is marked up on Lena Hurtig. That had to be by design with this group zoning. And Lena Hurtig, obviously their biggest target in the air. She's been efficient on set pieces for them all along. Steps up in a big way.
Blackstenius with a couple of goals at the Women's World Cup. A couple in the last Olympics that she played in as well.
One against the U.S.
And that's, again, we talked about the depth of Sweden. When you can bring in World Cup players, World Cup starters off of your bench, you're deep. Morgan trying to get behind, and she's going to get called.
I didn't see that. Sam Hughes does well to win the first ball. Now Alex Morgan's on the chase for the second, and I don't know how that's an Alex Morgan foul. It looks like Sembrant, if any.
35 goals in her last 45 for Alex Morgan. 9 goals scored in World Cup competition for Morgan. 78th minute. U.S. trailing against Sweden by a 1-0 scoreline. Have they done better for you in the second half, U.S.?
No.
No?
No.
In any facet?
No.
No? Okay.
I would say it's...
Just a question.
I would say it's on par with the first half performance. I don't think that there have been a ton of looks on goal. They're not creating clear-cut chances. I think on the flip side, Sweden is still having a little bit of success on this left side. But for the most part, Sweden's comfortable with this. They don't need to force the issue. You know, the United States right now is the one that has to take the onus.
It's too early of a ball. Almost playing into Sweden's hands by rushing these passes. Down this right side. Maybe another chance for Sweden to cut back, but Davidson sliced it out. Corner kick, Sweden.
And you said it, I think sometimes we take for granted how fluid the United States is when everything is on. That's not the case today. They pick off a pass in midfield, and now you see just the transition game from defense to offense really coming really quickly down that far side.
'80th minute. Another corner for the Swedes. Plenty of on-field conversation. Anderson. The in swinger. Headed wide of Alyssa Nair. Eriksson was up there looking for that killer goal. Will one be enough for Sweden? Dunn heading it forward. Rapinoe trying to find Horan in a hurry. Knocked out. Last touch by Sweden. Rapinoe's throw in. Speed of play there, but it's cut off, intended for Morgan. Blocked there. U.S. on it. Not for long. A lot of unforced errors tonight. Give Sweden credit the way they've played.
It's the pressure, and it's also the illusion of pressure at this point.
It's an offside on Morgan.
Alex Morgan sitting off the shoulder. The front shoulder of the center back and just trying to curl her run to time it right. Doesn't in the end.
Dunn tried to win that ball. It goes free on the right. Jakobsen looking for a Blackstenius in the box. Instead, it's cut back too sharply. Sam Ewis with the pick. Dunn, Horan. Sauerbrunn. Headed for Ertz. Ertz will pick it up. Head up for Ertz, looking for an option. Finds one. That's press. Ball played back. Allows Sweden to catch up. Nice ball, Rapinoe to Morgan. Played it in front, no runner there, and it's cleared out for a corner. Chance for an equalizer there in that sequence.
That's such a good ball, crossed by Alex Morgan, but no one from the United States gambled on it.
Jody Ricks among the targets here. Sam Ewis will be another. Press from the corner. Tried it towards the near post. One flick there. It's loose. And not enough on that ball in the end. Morgan trying to get it past the ball.
Juilliard so proficient at that near post. Just deft touch to glance that one on, and then the U.S. can't make Sweden pay.
83rd minute. Sweden, solid job really from the opening whistle to this point. Sauerbrunn to the right for Horan. Pressured by Anderson. Kelly O'Hara. Morgan, right side. A step behind the defense. Sam Ewis in the box looking to cut it back, and it's blocked. Ewis tries again. Morgan keeping it alive. That's blocked too. Passes just a tad off, it seems like, right from the get-go. O'Hara. Teasing ball in. Stays in play. And now it's out. And now it's a goal kick. It's always tough to balance this, Ali, when you look at it. Some people will say U.S. not doing enough. But how much of that takes away from what Sweden is doing?
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. We're just used to steamrolling opponents.
Yeah.
We're used to dominating in possession, dominating defensively, dominating in the press. And Sweden's gone toe-to-toe with us, and right now they've nudged ahead. That's the reality. But I do look at this match, and people can laugh at it all you want, but this is a really important learning experience for the United States. In reality, we learn more from these games than anyone else.
Yeah, you learn more from this than beating Argentina 6-0 the last game.
This may sound arrogant, but even more than any other country in the world, we can adjust.
Right.
I don't know that any other country can adjust the way we can. And that's why these matches are so important.
O'Hara sending it in. That's blocked. And it's going to go out for a throw-in. In the 85th minute, we're going to see Kristie Mewis come on to replace Kristen Press. So more fresh legs, and you've got the Mewis sisters out there together again.
Just not a big night for anyone up top in the United States that's been replaced. It's been a scramble.
Tuesday, they take on France. Still here for an equalizer late. 85th minute, Horan. Rapinoe. That ball will roll out for a U.S. corner. Megan Rapinoe will take it from the far side. 35-year-old midfielder. Went near post. And that one she'll get to do again. Last touch by Sweden. Driven again by Rapinoe, that near post. Blackstenius with the defensive header one. Third straight corner for the U.S. It's the third time the charm.
I knew you were going to say it.
I didn't even know.
That's how long we've worked together.
See? That's good. Rapinoe, different approach that time. Horan in the air. Comes outside the box. Now O'Hara brings it in. It's contact. Okay. She calling for a penalty? She just pointed to the penalty spot. Kelly O'Hara was on the edge of the box to the outside. The line is part of the box, but she pointed to the spot. And I think Sweden is just now realizing that.
And set pieces. Third time's a charm, JP. They can't clear the first ball. Kelly O'Hara takes a nice touch to get into that 18-yard box. Ooh, and the foul looks like it's outside.
No VAR in these friendlies. O'Hara thought it was a penalty, so it's Megan Rapinoe with a chance here to tie it up. In the 87th minute, Megan Rapinoe with 57 career international goals. Game-tying goal. Up to her. Rapinoe stepping up, and she scores 1-1. In the clutch, Megan Rapinoe, like it's routine.
It had to be, right? So cool, so calm. Falk guesses right. But in the end, too much power, too much precision for Megan Rapinoe.
Save the best for last, right? We have Dr. Joe Machnik, our rules expert analyst with us. Dr. Joe, good call on the penalty.
Well, there's no question, JP, that there's a foul on the play. The question, as you described, is it inside or outside the penalty area, and the line is part of the area. From replay, it looks like it's outside. If there was VAR in this game, video assistant referee, clearly they would have looked at it as a possible clear and obvious error and the free kick be given outside. But no VAR. The referee makes the call. She's in a tough position to judge that, but she makes the call. It's inside, and it stays.
And she didn't hesitate either. Thank you, Dr. Joe. She made that call. And now it's 1-1. There was another game maybe a couple of years ago where the U.S. was trailing 1-0 and they scored a goal late. So you always wonder, it's only one goal down, can they get one? And they did there. Now they're looking for maybe a second, but Falk is right there. So really, set pieces are the story tonight, right? 1-1.
Yep.
So unless something changes, the win streak will end. But the unbeaten streak would continue, but there's still time left, and we'll see about stoppage time. Horan. Morgan. Looking for Crystal Dunn, who's wide on the right side this time.
But she's been moved up, it looks like, into the right lane.
O'Hara with a slip. Aslani trying to make the U.S. pay. She's got runners left and right. Fresher legs there from Blackstenius. Couple of cuts to the outside of Sauerbrunn. That's deflected. Thought that entire ball was out, no? Sweden did too. U.S. will send it forward towards the halfway line. Cut off there. Sweden will take over. We're in the 90th minute. 1-1 result at the moment. Jakobsson outside the box, played it in, that's blocked, and then Ertz hit a teammate with that. Now it's cleared towards the circle. After that collision, Sweden will win the ball. Blackstenius. Now from distance, Sego left it off. And now it's over Alyssa Nair.
A lot of tired legs out there for 3 added minutes.
One here. Still more to come your way. Our post-game show will focus in on Carly Lloyd. She got her 300th cap today. Match highlights. And then, whose stock has risen in this game? Telling game, really, because of the level of the competition. Who helped their cause today? Maybe who didn't?
I think Davidson helped her cause today. I think she's been very strong, solid.
Starting for Dahlkemper. Don't know the details of the injury. Told it's not serious, but Abby was not dressing for this game tonight. And that's normally her spot in the back line next to Sauerbrunn. Becky moved over to the right to accommodate Davidson being more of a left-sided player.
Outside of that, I can't say that anyone had a really strong game. Lavelle probably was the one that imprinted the most offensively, looked the most likely to create from the starting group.
It'll be interesting to see what changes they might make starters-wise on Tuesday against France. Sweden with a cross from Jakobsen. It'll bounce. Settled. And not settled very well.
No, but again, good defensive work by Davidson. Patient, allowed the attacker to make the mistake, and then she steps in, bodies her off, and lets that ball roll out over the end line.
What helps Davidson is that she can play center back. She can play left back. If you needed her, probably play somewhere in the midfield as well.
In the 6.
Yep.
I mean, who's the backup for Julie Ertz?
Good question. Rapinoe. Final minute of stoppage time. Morgan cutting it back.